Hey everybody, Ben here. Gonna do an ink blot today. I'm gonna go with violet, teal, white, bright green, and red. I'll probably have to take a picture of it because the ink will run, and I'll put it up on the big screen, and then I'll have a smaller picture of it and explain what I'm seeing. Maybe we'll pull some cards on it, we'll see. And other than that, thanks for clicking on the video, and thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. So I'll see you in a bit. Hey everybody, I just wanted to show you this after it dried because it definitely changed. And this line here, I don't think you could really see it. I think it's important. Hopefully I didn't do the whole thing a disservice. Looks awesome though. Anyway, hopefully you enjoy it. Take care. All right, everybody, we're back. So I'll put up a picture of it right now, and you can scry at it on your own, or you can stick around and I'll go through it on the whiteboard of kind of what I see. Probably pull some cards. It's very interesting. First off, down at the very bottom, we can see ourselves and wings. It also looks like these wings have anchors on them. When we think about our experience here, if we are embodying this energy from being here, I'm sorry, from not being from here, we came from somewhere else, and we're embodying this higher frequency and trying to stretch those wings in this space, this density. It is like anchors, holding us back in a lot of different ways, a lot of frustration. There's, I've heard before, even like, say, some people with, I don't know what you would call it, I guess like autism type things. They've reincarnated here, from a different space, and they, it's so dense here that they're like, well, I don't have to do that where I came from. I don't have to talk. Everything's telepathic. Like all these things. I'm not saying that's all true. It's just I've heard this before, and it adds up if you think about it. Like, we came from a place where you didn't have to physically do things like that. It was just telepathic. It was our thoughts instantly manifested. And coming here, it doesn't work that way. And when we're in that other space, we could also be very stubborn in the mindset that I didn't have to do that. Why do I have to do something 10 times harder? If you really think about it. I'm not saying that that's the truth behind it, but it does add up, something to think about. But back to our wings here. We want to spread them, and these anchors are holding us back. If we kind of look at this, we can see stages here. Looks like 3 more stages above us. We could look at this as dimensions, our consciousness heightening. But here, at the very top, we have these breaks. It's continuous here, but we have those breaks. Are we that close? Are we struggling to finish that connection? Because then we can see this connection here. And if we think about wings, if I'm not mistaken, if they were upright and behind our back, ready to, be folded outward, we kind of have those tips that come together, fully ready to take off. Here we're spreading them. If we think about a chicken, they spread their wings and they, just air out their pits. But here, if they're here, are we fully taking flight? I am curious about this little pillar here. Is this the, because here, down here at the bottom, we can kind of see the neck. If this is this down here at the bottom, these are our arms, our legs, and our neck. The center part would be our body, which, if we think about our mind, consciousness, going up to that point. I am curious about that. Probably pull a card on that. Spirit, what is this here? Disappointment, 5 of Cups. Could look at again this struggle to connect, and then it's stopping here possibly, or trying to bring, trying to do all these manifestation practices and utilizing our energy, and we can't get the reward or the goal that we're seeking to this material aspect of it, or a spiritual connection, that is. Cups are emotions, and obviously, if this was dimensions, we would be in this bliss. Maybe we're really focusing on, and I'm not knocking this, but the idea of the world splitting, new world, old world stays behind, gets destroyed, and we are in this very peace and harmony. Everything's perfect, amazing. If we're looking at the dimensions and how some people talk about, hey, we're moving into this dimension, new earth and all this stuff, maybe we really put all of our eggs in that basket and it hasn't come to fruition yet. And that could totally create a disappointment. We've been trying to be the cookie cutter perfect love and light, and it's not coming to fruition. It's, what's the point? And I get that. That could be where this disconnect stopped. We didn't make it. We were expecting to transcend, and like I said, I'm not knocking that, but I was there. But it really keeps us in this hopium state, and we have to take some action in our lives. And maybe we are. I'm not saying we're not, but when we stay there, it's kind of stuck in a stagnation, stillness. We're waiting for something external to take place to bring us comfort or peace, joy, happiness, prosperity, however may it look. Anything else on that, Spirit? I just thought, how can we spread our wings? How can we get them up? So we'll go with that, Spirit. Okay, self-sufficiency, 9 of Pentacles. That kind of goes into, again, I'm not knocking this for anyone. Like I said, I was there too, but putting all of this in the external to take care of us. We have to take a little action. We got to take care of ourselves. And I want it. Who doesn't want a hero? Who doesn't want to be everything come in and it all be perfect? Of course, but sadly, when I first awoke to a lot of these things, that's the first things that come along, and obviously I've evolved a lot since then. But what comes to, we wouldn't be here if that was the experience. This experience isn't pleasant. It isn't easy. It is a struggle. And if we are this higher frequency being that has incarnated here, it's not really, I feel more like our job is to hold that light and be that light, if that's what you want to resonate with. But we also have to go through these struggles, whatever they may look like, to experience what it is like being human and still carrying that frequency. If we look at negativity in the world, whether energy in general, that's to keep us there in density, and going through these hardships to still hold that frequency is the point, the goal, of you, your strength, your light, however you want to call it, to still be that through hardship and whatnot. But holding our all of our eggs in the basket of something wonderful coming in to take it. I'm not saying that we don't have blessings, but we need to take care of ourselves, whatever that may look like. Whether that's just internally, emotionally, you know, or physically. Looking at the pentacles, that's matter, that's earth, that's material, which is, you know, we gotta, I'm not vouching for the system at all, but we have to be a part of it. We're here. And sometimes we want to step out and go back home, you know, however that may look. But we signed up for this. And I'll leave that there. I guess we'll pull one more card. They say one more card. Anything else here for the collective spirit? There we go. Manifesting, the magician. This is possible. It is. Most of the time when we struggle with it, it's our mindsets limiting us. That's impossible. That can't be. That can't happen. Now, here I am saying, you know, talking, I wasn't meaning to, but about the new world and all these things. I'm not saying that that can't happen. And I think collectively, you know, as energy, as everyone evolves, excuse me, and changes these frequencies and thought patterns, things inevitably do change. It's inevitable. It can't, the energy is so, it's, how do I want to explain this? It is, we could just look at a balancing scale, one of the old ones. And when all this energy is over here, it's unstable, it has to balance out. Now, you could shout from rooftops and all those things, but the only way people believe anything is they have to experience it themselves. And sadly, you know, the more drastic and chaos things get in our surroundings, people finally start to say, I don't like this, or I don't enjoy this, whether on a larger scale or on a much more personal scale, like in relationships and work and things. People finally see it and say, I'm worth more, or I deserve better, and etc. You know, however it may be. On our personal level, you know, these goals and purposes and all these things are our driving force. And when we limit ourselves, or we say we share too much and people limit us with their beliefs and their insecurities, that can mold us. You know, that will knock us down, our self-confidence, our self-esteem, self-worth, all these things. The biggest way to move forward, I have found, is obviously internal, in our emotions. Finding out, where am I limited? You know, what is limiting me? Write it down if it's easier. Think 3 things. What are 3 things that you wish you were different about? And I'm not saying the way you look. I'm talking about how you feel about yourself. I wish I didn't have anxiety and I could go do this. Okay, well, there's one. I wish I was confident to wear this type of clothes. I don't know. And then I wish I was confident to go buy a camper and go camping. You know, all these things that we limit, you know, or you know, build a house, remodel a house, you know, all these little things. What are they? And then we're going to look back and say, okay, well, if I change that, I could do this. But because of that, I'm not going to do it. Where did that come from? When we allow the external to affect us, it builds our internal. And especially if we're seeking external validation, that is, you know, going to change our ways, change how we do things. I'm probably just going to leave it there. I don't want to get too much off subject. So anyway, if it resonates with you guys, feel free to like, comment, and share. And I wish you all the best.